So, you thought you could make another great adaptation, huh, Netflix?
That makes 0 wins and 156 losses.
Tisk tisk. I'm sorry to say, but the one time you capture lightning in a bottle, you have to learn why you caught lightning in a bottle. And for Yu Yu Hakusho, I unfortunately have to say, you did not do that. Instead, you made just an okay adaptation. And I really do mean that, because when it comes to the One Piece live action, you had every single piece you needed to make a great adaptation. You had Oda on board. You had an amazing cast and crew who love One Piece on board. You had the money and energy and drive to make this a reality. All of that makes for an amazing show. With the Yu Yu Hakusho, you didn't do that. And so what happened? You just came out with an okay show. And as much as I do love the original show, and I highly recommend everyone check out the original Yu Yu Hakusho, I watched it dubbed because, in my opinion, I love the dub for Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yusuke Urameshi, age 14, personality is impulsive and ill-mannered with a violent temper. He has no respect for authority and is a horrible student. Things weren't looking up for you, were they?
That's none of your business.
They didn't do the promotions like they did for One Piece. And I do understand that, because One Piece had, I think, triple the budget of Yu Yu Hakusho. But still, you have to give more than just posters and a trailer to make people want to watch this live action. And you want people to see this and think, oh yes, I can see how this could be a reflection of the anime in live action with some creative liberties like the One Piece live action did. But here you don't have that, and I have to say, it just makes for an okay show. And I'm really just judging this based on the first episode, because I want to do a full review later, and it's like an hour per episode, and there's like 8 episodes, so I'm like, let me hold off on there, on that front. But from what the first episode gave us, and I may be critical, but you have to understand the first episode of Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime, it's one of the best hooks in anime. And it really it's a really important lesson into how to hook your audience from episode 1 into your world. And it's an isekai too, which is really funny. But what makes, I think, Yu Yu Hakusho so amazing is both that it takes place in the 90s, but also the color palette and aesthetic of 90s anime. You have the sound effects of cars beeping, the metropolitan areas of just cement buildings and shopping centers and people interacting and going outside and hanging out with each other without looking at their phones. You have such an amazing era to explore. You have amazing characters, you have amazing fashion, and in my opinion, it really encapsulates what makes 90s anime so great. It is the pinnacle of the best of the best. And when you make an anime that, I will give them credit, they do set it in the 90s, and I appreciated that fact. Everything else, with the color to, I guess, the story beats that were present in the anime, including those emotional beats, aren't there, or they haven't hit as hard as the anime. The anime's execution has been infinitely better, and it really sucks, because the more I watched the first episode, there were moments where I thought they were doing a great job. The choreography is one of the best things of the show so far. I love the fact that they use practical effects. They don't rely on CG too much. Like, you use one for when you have to use CG to describe the yokai. But aside from that, they use a lot of practical effects to the best of their ability, and it looks great. I love practical effects. But where everything else and where it really needs to hit is encapsulating the spirit of the show and the heart of the show. One Piece was able to do that. Was this one? Not so much. Now, I'd be lying to say that they didn't capture it at all. They do hit some moments, and you do feel some emotions. But whenever I felt those emotions, I just thought back to the anime and thought about how they hit harder in the anime. Why just having the music, having the characters react the way that they do, tugged on the heartstrings more than what the live action did. And it's unfortunate, because I could see what they were trying to do. I see what they were trying to do with the story changes, trying to make it more compact like the first episode. But by doing so, I think they made it a little bit more complicated, and it loses the charm of what made the first episode so great for the anime. That what made the first episode of the anime so great, and that was it was simple, concise, you could follow along pretty easily, and it sets up basically a long-term goal to achieve. There are some other things too that I think it really falters on, which is Botan. I think the actress, she's doing a great job for what she's given, but in terms of what the story gives her, both in lines to say and actions to do, it's not the same as the anime. And Koenma's the same way, and it's a real shame because the characters, for the most part, do their job, what they're supposed to do. Like, Kuwabara is actually my favorite from the live action, even though his design is a little bit altered from the anime. I think, and as far as taking him and turning him into live action, they did a really good job. Same with Keiko. Keiko's really good too, but unfortunately, the one that doesn't really hit the same, for me at least, is Yusuke, and he's the main character. Is he very, very similar to the anime? Yes, but do I see him as the same character from the anime? I don't think so. And I think the biggest problem for this show, in my opinion, is the fact that this show takes itself way too seriously. Like, this is stuff that should be happening during the Dark Tournament. It's really bad, and I feel so bad for people who go into the live action saying, oh, you know, I want to watch this into the anime because this will give me the anime in live action, right? But the truth is it doesn't. It's really inspired by the anime as much as it does want to capture the magic and feelings of what made the original show great. It's not there. The more I watch it, I just keep telling myself I just need to go back and rewatch the anime because the anime just does so many things better. But what I will say is this is just episode 1. It could change around. They do introduce a different story from the first episode, so I'm interested to see where that goes, opposed to, you know, how the anime approached it. And yeah, I guess the best way to describe it is, you know, the colorful palette of the original show. Look at the live action and look how it's all muted and stuff. That's how I feel about this show. It's just a muted version of the show in all the aspects where the emotional beats don't hit as hard. They do some things that are interesting, but ultimately don't really pay off in the grand scheme of things. But I'm going to do a full review once I finish the show. I just wanted to give my initial thoughts on this. Netflix, you may have done great with One Piece, but with Yu Yu Hakusho, you need to do a little bit better. But at least it wasn't atrocious, so I'll give you that. As for the rating for Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, for me at least, I'm going to give it a 6.5 for the first episode. Just because, in terms of having an impact like the first episode of the original, this doesn't do that. This doesn't have an amazing hook. They add some story elements that are a little bit different, but ultimately drag down the story compared to the original by overcomplicating some things. And yeah, I just wanted it to be amazing. And although I was optimistic that it could turn around because of how good live action One Piece was, I also have to tell myself it wasn't in the cards for them to do well because they didn't have the same things going for them. And that's pretty much it. What did you guys think of this video? You can check out my One Piece review for the live action on my channel, as well as ranking the One Piece arcs, also with my good friend Fly Nimbus. You can go check out his channel too. My name is Sayorius, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for stopping by.